All right, welcome back to the Rebooking the 90s podcast. This is episode 5, I
Five.
think. Episode
Yeah.
5. We're doing week 3 of TV. This is sort of our in between the two pay-per-views. I am one of your hosts, Brady Roberts, aka Brady Malibu, and I'm here live with the punk hunk, the weirdo hero, Ravenous Randy Myers. Randy, what's going on?
This is it, darling. I'm stoked for another week of rebooking the 90s. Excited to see what you've got on for your card for tonight. Excited to lay out my insanity for the world. Yeah,
I
let's
think
make it good.
I think people are loving your insanity, man. It's a little bit of like it's very 90s Vince Russo attitude era. Very cool. You just never know what's going to happen on your show.
It's true. Yeah, you never know. I feel like we've almost got a different booker each week. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Behind it's like WCW in the 90s or something like that, mixed with like some Nickelodeon slime, So yeah, it's definitely a little bit of wild.
It's great. It's great. And do you have any kind of sort of philosophy around your booking, or is it just like I guess do you book far in advance, or are you just kind of winging it? What's your style?
I think it's important to do both. I think both having some room for improv as well as having some like hard guidelines kind of works for me. That's what I
Yep.
find works in wrestling in general. You can never know what's going to happen in the ring. We got to have that room for wiggle. The
Yep.
fans might want something that we are not planning on delivering, and then we got to, step up and give them what they want.
For sure. For sure. I like that. And I'm kind of like doing the same where I was telling you a couple episodes ago, like I went right to my final episode and I booked sort of the card that I wanted to work towards. But then I don't have like each week booked in advance. I'm kind of like, I mean, I set up some matches last week for this week kind of thing. Like I like to do that, but then I'll sit down and write the whole episode and figure out where each guy is going. But my end goal is always that big pay-per-view at the end. And
Totally.
even that has changed a little bit as I've gone and stuff, but it's like I've got that main kind of, 4 or 5 like big matches that I want to get to. And then the other stuff I'm kind of, I'm playing it by
Exactly.
ear a little bit.
You got to let things be a little bit organic, but then
Yeah.
again, that road to Malibu mania,
Yeah.
Malamania.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You want to know it's like writing a book, right? You got to have a good ending that
Exactly.
so you know where you're going, but you could play as you go. And like I said, we've got an advantage doing this fantasy style because we don't have to deal with injuries or people not showing up or
Totally. Or yeah, flu-borne, airborne illnesses, or
Mhm.
STDs coming. Yeah, an STI could come right through the whole locker room. That could take
Exactly.
out a whole locker room in a heartbeat.
Sure. And I'm sure many wrestling locker rooms have dealt with that.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I know we've been in a few in the past. I won't mention
Yep.
any.
Of course.
PZWA or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And thank you for not naming names.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, I won't. I would never mention a Robert Fletcher or anyone.
Sure. Sure.
No.
Cool. Well, you're going to go first this week. I
Okay.
went first last week. I re-listened to last week's episode yesterday. Very cool. I'm curious to see will D'Lo Brown accept Booker T's challenge? What's the next step with the Hearts? You got a hell of a tag team division building up as well. Really
That's really what I'm
stacked.
focusing on is like the tag team. That's going back to that this week. This week we crowned our first tag team champions.
Mhm.
So it is all about that tag team championship. And there's a lot of tag teams that aren't in that five-way match that want to make a name for themselves as well, that think that they've been overlooked by the
Mhm.
booking committee, by Raven, by whoever these ultimate powers are.
Really stacked. Yeah. And if anyone's watching this on YouTube, I'm stuck in my storage room this week. There's a major construction project going on outside. So I don't know if anyone actually watches this on YouTube, but
I hope they do. Yeah.
I'm
No, yeah,
stuck.
but is this where you
Stuck in
keep
my.
supplies just in case the world's going to end?
Of course, this is my supplies. I mean, I'm lucky enough in Vancouver to even have a storage room, but
Totally.
it's my backup studio.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
So it
exactly.
gets very hot in here. I might start sweating when your show starts. It's like my heart is racing listening to your show. So
Honestly, when we zoomed in, I thought you were wearing no shirt to begin with. I thought
it's
that
a
was
yeah.
a tattoo piece on your chest that you were just showing off.
Yeah, it's a nice pink summer shirt here in January. Cool. Okay, man. I'll let you go, and I can't wait to hear it.
All
Let's do it.
right. Well, we start off in a beautiful day in Lethbridge, Alberta, coming to you from the Electric Barn. It is bobblehead night here at the Electric Barn. We're giving out bobbleheads of our champion, D'Lo Brown, the man who's known for having the best head bobble in professional wrestling. I honestly, for years, I thought this was a missed merch opportunity.
Agreed.
You know, how many bobbleheads exist in the world, and how is there not one of D'Lo Brown?
I love that. And I also loved last week with the brown t-shirts. I mean, how do you miss that?
Exactly, right? Like, this is a thing that needs to happen. I don't know. I feel like I should maybe be getting in charge or in touch with D'Lo Brown to maybe be in charge of his merchandising, because there's so much out there. You know, chest protectors. How do we not all have our own chest protectors? My chest is going without protection every day.
He could sell like a VHS tape just instructing how to do that sort of swagger that he did when he came to the ring. Yeah, like just a whole, like a 90-minute VHS tape instructing that. Exactly.
I think it could be a workout tape. It could be a yoga tape. It could be just about overall better mental health and body awareness.
That's a neck workout for sure.
Definitely. I'm kind of worried it's going to fall right off. But anyway, so it's the Electric Barn. We've got 200 people, and they are packed into that building, and we can smell each and every single one of them giving off their own unique body odor. And they're all holding their D'Lo Brown bobbleheads as the night begins. Our commentators walk out. They're the first ones we see. And tonight we have got Jimmy Hart doing commentary alongside Joey Styles. So those two people, imagine the excitement. Like, just hearing them alone, hearing them announce an ant race would be probably the most exciting thing. It'd probably give me a heart attack. So right off the bat, high energy show. Boom. Raven's music hits, which is great because it's about time. We left off the last show where Piper had been locked out of the building by Raven. Raven had walked into the president's office and showing that he was the one in charge here. He says he's coming out here. The commentators are saying it's about time that Raven answers a lot of questions. So the fans have been clamoring. He gets into the ring. He invites his champion, our champion, the man of the hour, D'Lo Brown, to the ring. D'Lo Brown comes out doing that patented strut, shaking his head, wiggling. All the fans in the crowd are all wiggling their bobbleheads as well. It's kind of like his strut is so strong. It's like Jurassic Park when the dinosaur steps and the water wiggles. So the heads are just bobbling without him even needing to do anything, right? So he gets into the ring. Raven says, it's time for me to answer some questions. Boom. At that point, Roddy Piper's music hits. He says, just when you think you've got the answers, I change the questions. Boom, the lights go bright. We've seen the lights go out before, but this is the polar opposite of that. The lights go on so bright that you can't see what's going on in the ring. When the lights dim to a reasonable level and those little orbs stop blurring in the fans' eyes, we notice that in the ring is D'Lo Brown, and behind him, his arch nemesis, Booker T.
Wow.
You can just sense that there's someone behind him. Raven sees Booker T sees looking at D'Lo Brown. He sees Booker T behind him. D'Lo can sense Booker behind him. Raven hightails out of there, only to be met on the ramp by Roddy Piper. They brawl their way to the back. D'Lo Brown does that slow turnaround, knowing what he's going to find, hoping he's not going to find Booker T there. He turns around. Booker T's there. D'Lo drops to his knees, begging off. Come on. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Booker says, no, I'm not going to hit you. I'm doing this the right way. I'm doing this the noble way. I am a king, and I will do so as such. I will treat you with respect. I will not fight you, but you know what is right. I will not hit you now, but I want that match, and I will get my match the right way. D'Lo Brown looks scared. He says, just don't do it. And he says, you'll be seeing me down the line. They both leave the ring. D'Lo Brown backs his way out, scared, terrified, clinging to both belts. Booker T holds his own in the ring.
Was Booker wearing sunglasses? How did he avoid the extreme lighting?
He's wearing those Christian sunglasses.
Oh, cool.
Remember the ones that kind of like the V ones? It was Christian that had the V sunglasses.
Yeah, they go like over your head. Yeah,
exactly. Because Booker T's he's got fragile ears, so he really wants to focus on not anything on the top of his ears. Good call, though. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
at this point, we have uh, the answer to the question, Lance Storm versus Mick Foley. Last week we left it where Mick Foley said Lance could have a choose your own adventure match. He could pick whichever persona of Mick Foley that he wanted to fight here tonight. And Lance calls Mick Foley out to the ring and says, tonight, I want to face you, not as Cactus Jack, not as Dude Love, not as Mankind, not even as Santa Claus. Who I think you need to be, as I think you need to be a dad. And I think you need to leave this ring, and I think you need to go home and take care of your kids.
Ooh.
Foley, being a man of his words, has to live up to this. He said, you could pick any one of my personas. So he leaves, dejected, feeling like maybe he doesn't have it in him to be this wrestler anymore, feels like maybe he should be at home with his kids, has this moment of self-doubt. Maybe he's risked too much of his family life for wrestling, which we've all had that moment before. I know you've felt that. I know I felt that. And Foley's feeling that at this moment. As he walks up the ramp, he is met halfway by his very best friend, Terry Funk. Terry Funk's there. So they're talking, trying to convince Mick to get up, to believe in himself, to not be so dejected. Mick kind of brushes Terry off, and Terry enters the ring. Says, Lance, it looks like you don't have an opponent for tonight. So how about you versus me? We got two ECW legends going at it. We've got the spinning toe hold versus the Canadian Maple Leaf happening right here, right now. Lance agrees. They're both wearing red and white tights, if that helps. I think that's important.
Sure.
Lance T. Storm working over the leg of Terry Funk. Just Terry eventually hits a little bit of a flurry, bouncing off those ropes, hitting some punches. Bam, goes to the top rope, goes for that moonsault. Lance rolls in. Terry hurt his knee even worse. Lance locks in that Maple Leaf, holding it tight. Terry taps out, but Lance won't let go. Lance showing that vicious streak that he's so known for. Just holding it in. Lance T. Storm just cranking in the pain. The referee eventually throws out the match. Lance still will not give up the hold. That brings out, then, out of nowhere, we hear Cactus Jack's music hit. Boom. Cactus Jack comes in this ring. He's got Barbie in his hand, barbed wire 2x4, swinging it all over the place. Lance, of course, lets go with the hold. He powders. He heads to the back. Mick grabs the mic, says, I gave you the choice to fight me, to pick who you wanted to fight, and you said to send me home. But you know what? On the way home, I did send Mankind home. I did send Mick Foley home. I did send Dude Love home. And I sent Santa Claus right down that chimney. But you know who stayed behind to fight this battle? None other than Cactus Jack. So next week, we will see Cactus Jack versus Lance Storm, whether Lance Storm likes it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm loving this feud.
Yeah, it's great, right?
Yep.
Getting a lot of that emotion out, It's got books. It's got literature. It's got best-selling authors. It's got book clubs. It's got everything you could possibly want.
It's kind of a great sort of natural rivalry too, with Lance is known as sort of this amazing technical wrestler, right? And then you've got the hardcore legend. And I think there's a nice kind of parallel there.
For sure. I think it works really well, especially with their ECW history. You know what I mean? I think so much of Lance's history within ECW was kind of fighting that battle, that technical wrestling versus the hardcore schlock wrestling, as he probably would, or some people might think of it as. Well, right? Which is what was so great about ECW. The heart of that is having that wild versus that technical style, right? All right, we go to the backstage segment. We see the Hearts deciding who is going to be in this tag team match tonight. We see Ross is still in pretty rough shape. He's still got those crutches. We see Brett saying he should clearly be, he's the former champion. He should clearly be the chosen one for this match. Owen and Brett thinking that they should be the two. Jim and Ross thinking that they have the most anger, that they maybe aren't the most storied, we don't have the most storied careers, but what they do have passion, and they do have anger, and they do have heart, pun intended, towards fighting those Dudleys and winning and capturing those tag team titles tonight in that 5-way tag team match. All right, so they're in the back. They still haven't come to decide who's going to be in there. We have the Giant comes out to the ring. Boom. He says, how could I be 7 feet tall, and still be overlooked in this company. He's not in the title picture. He's not in the tag team title picture. He's not in the intercontinental title picture. He's not in your main event title picture. How could he have slipped through the fingers? So tonight, he's going to start at the very bottom with the very smallest wrestler he can find, and he's going to work his way up to the top. He calls out Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio comes out, boom, pops out of the ground, boom, he's on his way to the ring, but then we hear Mike Awesome's music hit. He comes out. He says, "Hold up, big guy. You're not the only one who's been forgotten. How could I have slipped through the fingers? I am also one of the biggest men in this company, and if you want to get to the top, you're going to have to go through me." So he puts up a chair, and he just says, "I'm just going to sit and watch. I paid my ticket. I'm going to enjoy this match just like all the other fans." So
did Mike Awesome have to buy a ticket?
He did have to buy a ticket. Yeah, Ravens treat that way. And I mean, it's weird because it's such a, like, it's very limited seating capacity in the electric barn. So
I feel like that's like,
somebody had to leave for the Big Show. 2 people, because he's such a big man.
nice.
2 people had to leave the building. It was Gina Webb and I can't remember the other one, but 2 people left the building and they gave up their seats so that the Big Show, or so that Mike Awesome could be sitting there. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's like an indie wrestling promoter thing to do. It's like, ooh, you know, you're not booked on this show, so if you want to come, you're gonna have to buy a ticket, even though you're like a regular
Oh, totally. Yeah, you
member of the show.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
You were on the last poster, but if you wouldn't mind buying a ticket and setting up the ring, that'd be totally kosher, right?
That's Alberta indie wrestling right there.
Exactly. Well, you know what? If we don't love it, who will?
Exactly.
All right, so they go back and forth. Ray's obviously not a pushover, getting manhandled quite a bit by the Big Show, or by the Giant at this point here. My apologies to Mr. Paul White. Getting thrown around. Looks like Rey Mysterio is mounting somewhat of a comeback, but at every single opportunity, the Giant is just so angry and so focused that he just shuts him down. Rey eventually goes for that big 619. Giant catches him, big sidewalk slam, sets him up, big choke slam. He goes to the top rope. He hits the big drop kick, showing Giant hits this big, I've seen like one time, right?
Yep.
Top rope drop kick from the Giant onto Rey Mysterio, showing not only is he a big man, but he can also fly with the best of them. Pins Rey Mysterio off of that drop kick, stares down Mike Awesome in the aisleway.
Nice.
Now it's time for Mike Awesome. Gets up. He says, "Now it's my turn." He calls out Spike Dudley, his nemesis from last week. He says, "I've got some unfinished business with another small member of this roster, and it's going to end right now." Big Show says, "We'll move out of your way. You've already warmed up that seat. I bought my ticket earlier, so I'm going to sit down. Now I'm going to enjoy this match." Spike Dudley comes out, but Spike Dudley is not alone. He's got himself that trademark Dudley skipping rope, which you can buy for $19.99 on eBay. He's doing his best crisscrossing. He's showing all of his best jump rope skills, because he is, after all, a Dudley. He may have been beaten up by the other 2 Dudleys, but he still has all those jump roping abilities that they've been known so well for. He's showing off. Mike Awesome's in awe of these skipping rope tricks. But Spike, still angry at Mike, just starts whipping him, unleashing hell on him with that skipping rope. The referee has none of it, has to throw the match out. Mike Awesome finally gets a hold of Spike Dudley, press slams him over the top rope. Big Show catches him. Big Show says, Big Show press slams him back into the ring. Mike Awesome catches him. They're playing a game of hot potato with Spike Dudley. At this point, from behind, sneaks in Rey Mysterio. Big Show finally tosses Spike Dudley into the ring. Rey Mysterio is on all fours behind Mike Awesome. Causes Mike Awesome to trip. Spike Dudley gets a big crossbody on him. Boom. Humiliated. Mike Awesome is dejected. He leaves the ring. The 2 small men are standing tall in the ring, and the 2 big men feel humiliated, and they exit. Spike Dudley and Rey Mysterio stand in the ring laughing. At this point, Abe Lincoln says, "Wait a second." He comes out to the ring. He says, "I watched the last segment." He says, "I also am almost 7 feet tall. I am also one of the most famous people on this roster. I am on the face of the goddamn penny.
Yep.
And I am still being overlooked. Obviously, at this point, he's quite frustrated. Has no top hat. Buff Bagwell's not to be seen. Buff Bagwell's off with his mom celebrating her birthday at Applebee's. So he knows that his opponent and his top hat, or his nemesis and his top hat, not in the building tonight. So he comes out, he has a match versus, he calls out someone from the back we haven't seen yet. Debuting member of our roster, a man I fought one-on-one, the brother of one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, a long lineage of athletic feats from this man. Leaping, Lanny Poffo comes out to the ring, reading a poem towards Abe Lincoln. Beautiful soliloquy that I don't dare do right here, right now, but because I wouldn't do it justice.
Yeah.
Abe Lincoln and Lanny Poffo go toe to toe. No joke, no pun intended. Even though Lanny Poffo was at this point not wearing any shoes, Lanny Poffo hits the big moonsault. Abe Lincoln hits the Kryptonite Crunch and a big code breaker. Locks on the Texas Cloverleaf. Boom. Lanny Poffo taps out. There we go, giving Abe Lincoln his first big win, saying they shake hands and walk off together, discussing how Lanny Poffo could maybe do better next time, because Abe is the ultimate babyface.
He is, yeah.
At this point, we go to the back. We see Roddy Piper and Raven. Roddy Piper still in control of Raven, beating him up, throwing him into vending machines. The vending machine's popping out soda pops. Roddy Piper's grabbing that soda pop, smashing it into Raven's head.
Nice.
They're fighting, brawling all over the place. It is violent. They're up in the back. People at home probably don't know the Electric Barn if you haven't been there recently. There's the wrestlers come down from a nice long set of stairs, and they brawled up those set of stairs and are brawling in the backstage area, back around the building, back into the concession stand. They're taking this everywhere you could imagine. So we cut away from that, back to the ring, where we see Luna standing there with her tag team partner, Bull Nakano.
Nice.
They say they may not be involved in the main event tonight, but they are a tag team that deserves attention. And tonight, Luna is going to prove that by taking on another person from another tag team that deserves a little attention, of the tag team of Tajiri and Rey Mysterio. She's taking on Tajiri. They go toe-to-toe. Light heavyweight kind of classic here. Bull Nakano's in the corner. We've got Luna versus Tajiri. Back and forth. Very clean babyface style action, but also still got that grit. You know what I mean? That kind of certain street fight style going on. We've got Japanese style mixing with, Montreal Canadian style. I don't know what Luna's exactly like, just wild woman style. She's all over him. She finally gets the win over Tajiri with the big implant DDT. Showing Bull Nakano and Luna are in the ring. Bull Nakano picks Luna up on her shoulders, and they celebrate there together, showing that they deserve to be in the tag team division.
Nice.
At this point, we go to backstage. We see D'Lo. He's chewing on his fingernails. He's chewed him down to the very nubs. He's nervous. He's sweating. He's scared. He's convinced that Booker T is everywhere around him. Booker T, by this point, has left the building. He's gone home. He's having a nice bubble bath. He's watching Kung Fu Panda 2. He's nowhere near the building. He is a man of his words. He says that when D'Lo's ready and man enough to fight him, or person enough to fight him for the championship, that day will come, and he has the patience to wait. D'Lo Brown still feels every noise he hears, he thinks it's Booker T. Every creak, every crack, he's convinced that Booker T is right there behind him. Booker T has done what he wanted to do, and that is get inside D'Lo Brown's brain. D'Lo Brown, paranoid, terrified, grabs the microphone, says, "Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Booker, just leave me alone. If you want your match, you can have it. You can have your match next week, Booker. You can have your match as long as you just leave me alone." So there, Booker T gets his match just by planting that seed of doubt, of paranoia into D'Lo Brown's head. Causes him that match. Here we go. It's time for your main event. Time
Nice.
to crown your new tag team champions of this place. And that main event is Dr. Luther and Muda taking on the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, Rick Rude and China, the Flat Earthers, and the Hearts, which tonight are made up of Bret the Hitman Hart and Ross Hart. They've decided to split the difference. They've decided to go from one member of each team. Ross has the heart. He's angry. He's got the vengeance. He's got the revenge on his mind. Bret Hart's got the technical knowledge. He's got the calmness. He knows how to take care of business when he's in that ring. All 5 competitors are going at it again. To refresh the fans on what this match is, it's a 3-table or a 3-ladder, 1.5 chair, and a 3-legged stool match. So what you're going to do, the ring, the title is held above the ring. You're going to need to use that 3-legged stool, which is very precarious to get up on, to reach up to it. It is a tall 3-legged stool. So yes, it's only got 3 legs, but it's also, I want you to picture like a ladder at the same time. It's about 12 feet tall. So standing at the top of that is very, very precarious. We're seeing all sorts of spots. We're seeing tables. We're seeing the Dudleys going toe-to-toe with the Hearts. Their focus is locked on each other. Muda and Luther's focus is locked on climbing that step stool ladder, 3-legged ladder, to the titles. They're trying to help each other the whole time. They're having trouble figuring exactly out how to use this ladder. Meanwhile, we've got Rude and we've got China fighting with the Flat Earthers. More of a verbal debate at this point. The China and Rude have a globe, and they're trying to just explain how the universe works. They've got one of those, actually not just a globe, but those whole like science fair, the things that they've set up, like with all the little. I don't know if your dad ever helped you with that. My dad wasn't around, so he didn't really help me with that stuff. But if I did have a dad, I always imagined that we would have made one of those like solar systems for science class. So she's made one of those, and they're really trying to explain how the universe works to Bob Holly and to Arn Anderson. At this point, the Hardys come in from behind. They blindside Rude and China, take them out of the picture. They brawl them to the back. They're out of the picture at this point now. Bob Holly and Arn Anderson lock their eyes on the tag team titles. They start climbing to the top. They get into it with Luther and with Muda. They start spitting mist at each other. They start flat earthing each other. They give each other the flatliner. They give each other it's brutal. Meanwhile, the Hearts and the Dudleys still no attention, not even looked once at those tag team titles. They're just brawling each other apart. Eventually, other 2 Hearts come from the back. We've got Jim the Anvil Neidhart and we've got Owen Hart, and they're coming out with a dumpster. They throw the 2 Dudleys in the dumpster, chain the dumpster up, and then all the 4 Hearts push the dumpster up the stairs, stair by stair, which is very difficult. If they had a ramp, it'd be like, they should have had a ramp. But they're going up stair by stair by stair, so it's a lot of work. It's like pallbearers. Like imagine they're carrying it like a giant casket. They're carrying it up the stairs. They're out of the picture. Muda and Luther finally figure out their strategy is to have Luther sit on top of Muda's shoulders, and then that'll get him to his fingertips to the top of the stool, pull himself up, going for those tag team championships, when out of nowhere, big chop block from behind from Arn Anderson, hits a double spine buster while they're still standing on each other's back, or sitting on each other's backs, on Luther, on Muda. Bob Holly raises to the top. He grabs those now Flat Earth Tag Team Championships.
Wow.
Boom. We go to the back. We still see Piper and Raven brawling, the final segment. And we see Piper throw Raven outside, lock the door, and Piper walks into that president's room. So is it control of the office? Is Piper now in control? Does whoever sits behind that desk have control? Is Raven now the one out of the job? Does Piper have the job just by possession is 9/10 of the law? We're going to have to find out next week on our next show, coming to you from none other than the Pez Dome in Tacoma, Washington.
Wow. Incredible. Yeah, there's got to be some kind of squatters' rights or something, right? Like Roddy Piper, he's in the office, so I guess this now makes him have presidential duties.
I'm pretty sure that's how Raven's got everything in his life is squatters' rights. He's
Yeah,
just been stayed there long enough. I
sure.
saw him one time actually. I was on tour with him, and we were at a Dairy Queen, and then there was somebody who ordered a Blizzard, and they just put it down on the table, and then they went to the bathroom. Raven just sat at that table, and when the person came back, he's like, "No, my Blizzard now."
He took his Blizzard too?
He took the Blizzard. Yeah, took the seat, took the Blizzard. Wasn't touched. He was fine. He's like, I was already going to order a Smarty Blizzard, so it's here. Whatever. Thanks, man.
So did he buy the guy a new Blizzard, or did the guy have to pay for his own new Blizzard?
I think Raven's a nice guy. He did buy the guy a new Blizzard.
Oh, thank God. Wow.
Yeah, I think he just threw a $5 bill at him, which I think was actually more than the Blizzard was worth because it was a small Blizzard. So I think the guy came out on top. He got to meet Raven. He got to have a story to tell, and he got himself a fresh Blizzard.
Yeah, and an extra, 25 cents or whatever.
Totally a tip. He got tipped.
Wow, he got a tip
by Raven
and robbed.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, is that it, or did you forget any segments?
No, we got it. We got it all. I got it all in this, Brady. I did it.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Okay, well, we'll move on to my show. On to Breakout, episode 3. We are, of course, starting the show with just an epic amount of pyro. Just so much pyro. It's getting more extreme each week.
How long are these segments, these pyro segments?
Oh, 10 to 15 minutes.
Perfect.
When you go to like a fireworks show and the fireworks, they just keep going and they're doing all sorts of weird stuff. And you're like, when is this
always
thing
find when I'm at fireworks, I think it's over. And then I go to leave and then I hear it again. And then I turn around and then it stopped again. And then I never know when it ends.
It's never ending. And I don't know about you, but all fireworks kind of look the same to me. Like I never understand why people are so stoked about fireworks.
No, I don't get it either. Yeah. But you are, and your show is just full of them. So, yeah.
Of course, on my show. So we know what the people want, and it's fireworks. I personally don't get it, but I want to give the people what they want.
You book for the fans. I
book for the fans. So crazy amount of pyro. Tony Schiavone, Don Callis, and Sonny, our 3-person announce team, welcomes us to the show, and we're starting with a huge match, an Intercontinental title match. Our fighting champion, Eddie Guerrero, makes his way to the ring out on his lowrider. It is blue. It's a baby blue lowrider. He's coming out. He's got the Intercontinental title. He's got a rose in his mouth. He's Latino heat, making his way to the ring. And then out comes his opponent for this dream match, Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig, accompanied to the ring by the Heenan family. He's got Ric Flair, he's got Bobby Heenan, and he's got the big man Kona Crush with him. So back and forth, technical match. I would have loved to see this match. I don't think that they ever worked with each other, as far as I know. Eddie goes up to the top for the frog splash. Bobby Heenan distracts the ref, and Crush shoves Eddie off the top into the ring. Curt Hennig covers him 1, 2, and he kicks out. Hennig grabs him. He goes for the perfect plex, but Eddie spins out, escapes. He hits the 3 amigos suplexes, suplees, if you will. I believe it's plural. Ric Flair gets back up on the apron to distract the ref again. Eddie's getting distracted on the other side by Bobby Heenan. He goes through the ropes to grab Heenan to punch him. Heenan goes to throw some powder in the eyes of Eddie, but Eddie moves, and the powder hits Mr. Perfect in the eyes. Ooh. Eddie turns around. He drop kicks Curt Hennig. He's blind. He jumps up to the top. Big frog splash. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Eddie once again out dirties the dirtiest players in the game here. Okay, Bobby Heenan tried to cheat. Eddie avoided it, and it backfired on them. So Eddie's celebrating with the title. The people are going absolutely crazy, and he's jumped by Crush. The entire Heenan family gets in the ring. They're just stomping on Eddie, and they leave up the apron or up the ramp. They're very upset. Eddie's in the ring. He's been beat up by 4 men here, but he's still the Intercontinental Champion.
Fighting champion,
Fighting champion, major babyface. We head back. We're in Jim Cornette's office. HBK walks in, belt over his shoulder. He's chewing gum. This is mid-90s HBK. He's got the little sunglasses on, the funny hat, the mullet. He says, Cornette, you wanted to see me? Cornette says, yeah. Next week, we're going to have a fatal 4-way. And the winner will go on to fight the world champion at our next pay-per-view, which has the 20-man Rumble as well. And that pay-per-view is called Rumble in the Bronx.
Ooh, nice. I like it. I like it.
I just like that movie. This will, of course, not actually be in the Bronx because all of our shows are in Malibu, California at the same arena. We're just in honor of the Bronx.
In honor of the Bronx, of course, which is about time.
So, of course, the winner of that fatal four-way next week will take on the winner of our main event tonight, which is for the World Heavyweight title, HBK taking on the Ultimo Dragon in that dream match. And HBK says it doesn't matter. I'll beat any of those guys because I'm the showstopper, I'm the main event, and I'm the world's heavyweight champion. So we go back to the ring. Disco Inferno is dancing. He's dancing. He's loving it. Disco music playing. He's got a microphone. Music stops. He says, I will, in fact, accept Mr. Cornette's invitation that he gave me last week, and I will enter myself into the 20-man Rumble, and I will go on to Worlds Collide, the main event for the World Championship. The British Bulldog's music hits. The crowd goes absolutely crazy. They love the Bulldog like they love Eddie Guerrero. And we got a big match here. Bulldog just dominates Disco Inferno, throwing him around like a rag doll. He picks him up. He hits the running power slam. 1, 2, and 3. And the British Bulldog defeats the Disco Inferno. Disco just cannot catch a break here.
No, he certainly can't, but he's got his eye focused on the championship, and he believes in himself, and that's really what matters.
Mm-hmm. I like that he's just going right to the top. He's like, I want the world title. That's it.
Yep, no, exactly. It doesn't matter. I don't need to win any prelim matches. Yep. It doesn't matter my win-loss record. It matters that I want that championship, and I go for what I want. Manifest those dreams.
He's got to take out 19 other guys to get that title shot. So we are back in Mr. Ted DiBiase's private locker room. DiBiase and IRS, they're drinking champagne, as always. They're staring at their tag team titles. They're shining them up. Jim Cornette walks in. He says, look, we went over your contract last week. I might not be able to make you defend those tag team titles, but I can make you wrestle a match tonight. I'm putting you in action tonight in a 6-man tag team match. You are going to be taking on the High Flyers, which is, of course, Rob Van Dam, Sabu, and Too Cold Scorpio.
Ooh.
And DiBiase and IRS says it's a 6-man tag. There's only 2 of us. And he said, well, you can find a third partner. And Cornette walks out. And in walks TL Hopper.
Perfect.
He says, sir, the champagne fountain, it's coming along well. DiBiase says, shut up, okay? He looks at IRS, and IRS says, okay, TL, we need you for another job. You're going to be our tag team partner tonight. And TL is very excited for his debut on Breakout later tonight.
No. Yeah, he's been making gold toilets. He's been installing champagne.
Yep, he's working on the fountain, but now he's got to get to work in the ring.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's time to see what he can do in that ring. We know his plumbing skills are great, but what are his wrestling skills like?
What's his athletic ability like? And by the looks of him, not good. So Doc Hendricks is backstage with High Impact, Chris Jericho and Edge, who have been on a real streak since debuting. Jericho says, we've dominated our matches so far. We are looking forward to a tag team title opportunity in the near future. But in the meantime, both of us have decided we are going to enter the 20-man Rumble at Rumble in the Bronx. And may the best man win, baby. Big baby faces.
Definitely. Okay. Lots of babies going on in those promos. Baby, baby, baby.
Back out to the ring. Rob Van Dam's music hits. He makes his way to the ring with Sabu and Too Cold Scorpio. Huge ovation. The people just love him. There's all sorts of signs with marijuana.
Are they blurred out? Are they allowed to be seen on your TV show?
They're allowed. This is like this is late night HBO.
Beautiful. I love it. Of course, that's where everyone would fit.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. DiBiase and IRS, their music hits. The dollar bills are falling from the ceiling with DiBiase's face on them. TL Hopper is walking behind them, and they've got him carrying the tag team titles. So, big 6-man tag action, all sorts of cool tag team combo moves. The High Flyers are just dominating the tag team champions. DiBiase and IRS are refusing to tag in TL Hopper. Okay, he was a last-minute choice. They do not want TL getting in the ring. Eventually, DiBiase gets a spin kick to the face from Rob Van Dam. He sells up to his corner to tag IRS, but IRS is still selling his head from something earlier. He doesn't even see what's happening, and TL tags himself in, slaps DiBiase's shoulder. TL, he charges in. He gets hit by another spin kick by Van Dam. Sabu flies off the top rope with a big leg drop. They pull him to the corner. Scorpio goes up top. Big 450 splash. 1, 2, 3 on TL Hopper. The High Flyers, they celebrate. And on the outside, DiBiase, he yells at TL Hopper for losing the match, and he slaps him across the face. TL looks sad. DiBiase and IRS, they storm out on their own.
I don't care how much money you have. You don't disrespect your help like that, you know?
No. Unacceptable, man. DiBiase's been nothing but an absolute dick to TL Hopper. So Doc Hendricks, he's in the back with Eddie Guerrero. And Eddie's recovering from the beating earlier from the Heenan family. He's angry. He's pissed off. He says, I demand a match next week with Crush. I'll take out the entire Heenan family if I have to on my own. He wants
that heat, that Latino heat.
And he'll put his Intercontinental title on the line, okay? Even though Crush has not earned a title match. We're back in the ring. La Parka is standing on his chair. He's dancing. Okay, more dancing.
Perfect.
Bruiser Brody's music hits.
Oh, no.
And he runs out to the ring. He's swinging his chain. He's got his spike. He runs into the ring. La Parka gets the chair. He swings the chair at Brody. Brody ducks. He boots the chair right into La Parka's face. The bell rings. He picks up La Parka, hits a big pile driver. Brody climbs to the top rope. We know what's coming. He dives off, jumping knee drop right to the head, crushing La Parka's skull. 1, 2, 3. Bruiser Brody, another dominant victory. And we're back in Jim Cornette's office, and he's watching Bruiser Brody on the monitor. He says, wow, this guy is unstoppable. And Bruiser Brody, he's going to be entered into the 20-man Rumble.
Oh, no.
Rumble in the Bronx for the world title shot, okay?
Oof.
Nobody can stop Bruiser Brody. He needs to be in that match. Giving the people what they want.
Exactly. Yeah. When you got to imagine, like, Bruiser Brody alone is like 10 men. So that's like turns all of a sudden into like a 29-man match.
And is Brody going to put his hand up and volunteer himself for the match? Cornette's got to put him in there for him.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not going to choose himself. What number? Like, I don't know.
Cornette, like Brody's like running around the forest looking for food. He's not looking for the sign-up sheet for the 20-man Rumble.
Does he even know the rules of a Rumble? Does he even know exactly how you can't go over the top rope? Who knows? Exactly.
He's going to be excited that he gets to just beat up 19 guys.
That'll be great.
We're back from the commercial break. No commercials for Kane's barbecue joint.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any commercials
on this show.
We just went straight through, actually. We bought out all the air time, the commercial space.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Well, I remember you said your show is 45 minutes, so you got a lot to get through at that point.
We got to get it tight.
Yeah. So Doink is doing card tricks for Salvatore Sincere, who's, of course, paid him a few bucks to show him these tricks. So Salvatore, he picks a card. He shows it to the camera. Doink takes the card back. He shuffles the deck. He pulls out a card. He says, is this your card? And it is. And Salvatore's, he's suspicious. And he grabs the deck of cards and he pulls them out. And it's all the same card.
No.
It's all one card. This is unbelievable. He throws the cards and Salvatore says, you, sir, are insincere. And Doink starts to laugh. He says, and he hits Salvatore over the head with his bag of weapons. And Doink pulls out the prosthetic leg and he starts beating Salvatore down with the prosthetic leg. And he grabs the money and he heads off. Doink is just scamming everybody on the roster here.
Yeah, never trust a clown, especially more than once. That's why I stopped being a juggalo. Just couldn't trust the clowns anymore.
No. Yeah, that clown community, untrustworthy.
No, I don't. If any clowns are listening, that was a joke. I apologize to the clown community. I think you're all fantastic artists, and I hope the best for you.
Yeah. Goldust is in the ring, and he has a new tag team partner. He's trying somebody else out, and it's Tiger Ali Singh.
Ooh.
And Tiger Ali, he just wants to make a name for himself here, and he can't catch a break either. The lights go out. Fire comes up on the entrance, and Gangrel and Mortis make their way to the ring. Big tag team match, their first appearance as a tag team. They beat up Goldust and Tiger Ali. Mortis, he's hitting some cool, innovative-looking moves. Gangrel throws Goldust out to the floor, picks up Tiger Ali, big impaler DDT. 1, 2, 3. Gangrel and Mortis victorious over Goldust and Tiger Ali. And out of nowhere, Surfer Sting runs out down the ramp, runs out to the ring. Gangrel and Mortis, they powder to the floor. Sting grabs a microphone. He calls out the Warrior. Have you really turned to the dark side? And who is this higher power that you keep talking about? And the Warrior appears on the screen, facing away from the camera. And he's in a cemetery. It's not the cemetery at your arena, though. It's
okay,
a
good, yeah.
cemetery, okay? But also a lot of smoke. And the Warrior is shoveling dirt into a grave. And his back is just absolutely jacked. You know, shoveling is a hell of a workout.
Definitely is, yeah. Gets those delts going, gets those lats.
Yeah, and we pan back a little bit, and there's someone standing beside the Warrior in a full robe over the head and everything. And he pats the Warrior on the shoulder in approval as they're shoveling the dirt into the grave. And we pan over and we look at the gravestone and we zoom in and it says, "The Ultimate Warrior."
Oh.
He's shoveling dirt into his own grave.
Jeez.
And the lights come back on and Sting is left in the ring. He's confused. Gangrel and Mortis have disappeared. And we cut to a commercial. The mind games continue.
Totally. Is this the higher power? That's got to be the higher power behind that hook.
It's got to be the higher power. Okay. Jim Cornette's office. Disco Inferno, once again, he storms into Cornette's office. He says he's complaining about his loss tonight. The British Bulldog, he's too powerful. It's unfair. And in storms Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he grabs Disco Inferno and he throws him right through the door, smashing the door. And Austin, he's upset. His truck was blown up last week by Brian Pillman. And he demands that Cornette tell him where Brian Pillman is. Cornette says, I got no idea. Nobody can reach this guy by phone. No one's seen him at the venue since he blew up your truck last week. I have no idea where Brian Pillman is. But Cornette says, well, the good news is, Austin, next week, you are going to be a part of the Fatal 4-Way to determine the #1 contender for the World Championship at Rumble in the Bronx. And Austin, he doesn't even care. He's pissed. He storms out and he stomps Disco Inferno a couple times on the way out. Disco is just in a pile of broken wood from the door. Okay, we're back out for the main event. Final segment, an absolute dream match. The Ultimo Dragon makes his way to the ring, accompanied by Hayabusa and Jushin Liger. Sorry, I made a mistake. He does not have Hayabusa and Jushin Liger. He's coming out to fight this match by himself. Okay.
Oh, just coming out solo.
Coming out solo. And Shawn Michaels, it's his battle. Shawn Michaels makes his way to the ring. And it's an incredible 15-minute match, an absolute clinic. It's high flying, it's quick offense, it's reversals. It's, Shawn is a heel, but he can go.
Oh, for sure.
This is mid-90s Shawn. This guy's not messing around, okay? So Ultimo hits Shawn with an Asai moonsault off the second rope to the floor. He throws Shawn back in the ring, grabs him by the head. He runs up the ropes for the sliced bread. Shawn throws him off. Ultimo lands on his feet. HBK hits a quick super kick. Boom. Falls on top of him. 1, 2, 3. Shawn Michaels defeats the Ultimo Dragon after a 15-minute back and forth epic encounter. And he's celebrating in the ring. Ultimo's starting to get up to his knees. And out from the crowd runs Bam Bam Bigelow and attacks Ultimo Dragon in the ring. He's beating him up. Shawn just exits with the belt. He doesn't care. He's still the champion. Bam Bam picks Ultimo up overhead in a press slam, drops him to the shoulder, big power slam, and outruns Hayabusa and Liger. This is why they were not there earlier, okay? And they slide in, and Bam Bam exits, and they're helping Ultimo up, and Bam Bam grabs the microphone. He says, this has gone on too long. Next week, I want the Ultimo Dragon in a street fight.
Oh, wow.
And Hayabusa and Liger, they're helping Ultimo up. And Ultimo nods in approval. He says, yeah, I'll see you next week. And we fade to black. So big show set up for next week. We got the street fight with Bam Bam Bigelow and the Ultimo Dragon. And we got a fatal 4-way to determine the #1 contender for the Rumble in the Bronx, which is the show following that. We also have an Intercontinental title match with Eddie Guerrero defending against Crush after the beatdown this week. So big show next week, and only one more show until our next pay-per-view.
I imagine you're also going to have people, new members of that 20-man battle royal. Imagine we're going to announce some of those names, figuring out more of this higher power. Has Ultimate Warrior done in with himself? Is this a gimmick change? Is it the nickname thing? What is it? Is he going to be now
Exactly.
just Warrior? Is he just going to be now just Ultimate? Is he going to be UW, a One Warrior Nation, Dingle Warrior? The options are really endless here.
Sure. And who could be the higher power? Is it the booty daddy Brutus Beefcake?
Safe bet. That's a safe bet.
Was that his gimmick in WCW?
I believe that. Yeah, that was one of his gimmicks.
One of his many gimmicks.
Zodiac as well. Yeah. Could it be Kevin Sullivan? Could it be? Who knows who it could be? Right. That again could be anybody.
Could be anybody. Literally anybody. That's great, man. And on your next show, sorry, did you announce any matches for the next? So D'Lo Brown and Booker T.
Yeah, we got D'Lo. We got a big one. We got D'Lo Brown versus Booker T, the match that the fans have been waiting for. Again, this is the match before, or the show again before the next pay-per-view. So we got to wonder who's going to be the champion going into the next pay-per-view. We've also got Lance Storm taking on Cactus Jack next week, and I think we're going to have the Flat Earthers will be defending their tag team championships against this was not announced, but against Bull Nakano and Luna Vachon.
Very, it sounds like almost like a pay-per-view card right there, because these are some matches you've been building up for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, exactly. But is it going to be the final payoff? We know that sometimes is this another chapter in the rivalry? Sure. Is this the explanation point at the end? Will this lead on to more stuff? We're 1 week away from the pay-per-view, so we've got to imagine this is still ramping up to set up those bigger feuds or like other things down the line.
And is there any matches announced for your pay-per-view?
No. Right now we're standing still. There's nothing been announced yet. All the titles will be defended. If D'Lo Brown is still going in as your double champion, he's going to have defend both of those championships in 2 different singles matches. We're also going to be having the tag team titles defended, and we're going to be having also our first ever hot wing eating contest sponsored by Kane's Barbecue Sauce. So those are all going to be happening at the pay-per-view. So we're going to be building up to those next week.
Wow. And what will Abe Lincoln do next?
Like, is
most importantly,
it seems like he's been here and there. Like showed some frustration this week, obviously rightfully so. He's been really tries to keep that baby face alive inside of him, but so much disappointment. The hat, Buff not being around, you know what I mean? Lanny Poffo. There's so many different options. Where's Abe going to go from here?
Well, and at least Abe finally won a match this week, so that's great.
Exactly. Yeah, Abe's moving up. He's got a win in that column. We're also going to wonder where the feud's going between Big Show or the Giant and Mike Awesome. Are they going to align? Are they going to use their one could imagine that if those two giant powerhouses teamed up, that there'd be no stopping them. We saw that Rey Mysterio and Spike Dudley having each other's back at the end of that match. So maybe they're going to form a tag team. Does that mean it's going to leave Tajiri out in the rain because he's Ray's tag team partner at the time? Who knows? There's all sorts of moving parts there.
Sure. And the Flat Earthers just getting the monster push.
Yep, exactly. Well, yeah, you can't deny it, right? They actually, what they've done is the championships, most championships wrap around your waist nice, right? They didn't like that because it had a picture of the globe on it. So it was too round still. So they've really flattened out those belts. So they sit very flat. They're very awkward looking, but they feel more comfortable about it.
Probably some sharp edges.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Sharper than the edge that is on your roster. Oh.
That's true.
Yeah.
He is. Do you remember the PWA Mayhem title?
100%. How could I?
It was the sharpest. It was shaped as an M.
Yep.
And the little tips on the end were the sharpest thing ever. And one was, so I was the Mayhem champion. You probably beat me for that belt. I don't know. I was the Mayhem champion for a little bit. And, you put the belt on around your waist and you're like, I am going to chop my own junk off.
Yeah, exactly.
Wearing this belt because it was so sharp.
And it didn't look particularly it was a giant M. A giant M. Giant M around your belt.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, correct me if I'm wrong, and now I know we've gone into a talk about independent wrestling in Alberta many years ago, but the Mayhem title could be defended in any type of gimmick match.
That's true. Yeah, any sort of match. I think it was Champion's Choice. Maybe not, but I think it was any sort of gimmick match. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure I did defeat you for that belt, but I don't remember what the match we had was.
I know that we had a fans bring the weapons match in Edmonton, probably for the Mayhem title at Nate.
Yeah,
Nate's main gym. So that might have been the one where he beat me for it. But
I think I've actually won the Mayhem Championship more times than anyone else. Maybe Marky, maybe M. I don't know. M.
Does the Mayhem title still exist?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah.
Incredible. Like
Yeah.
you have the actual championship, you mean?
Oh,
Or oh well, you've got it.
yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
You actually have the actual belt. This turned into something.
Yeah. I'll find it next time. I'll find it next time.
Okay, find it next time because the people are going to want to see it now. So I guess no one is defending that title in Alberta these days.
No, they have to go through me,
Yes.
and give it of my choosing.
That's
Which is
incredible.
a fly to Vancouver and ask nicely for it championship match.
Yes, I like it. Or you could do it virtual, maybe a virtual
Exactly.
match.
Ooh, I'd like that. Maybe a Zoom.
A Zoom match. The first ever Zoom match. That's good.
Exactly.
That's good. Yeah. Cool. All right, man. All done. Great episode. Awesome. Can't wait to see what happens next week. And thank you everybody for listening and all your great comments about it. And we'll be back next week for another episode and then on to the second pay-per-view.
Ooh, here we go. It's going to be fun. Thank you so much for listening, friends. Bye.